Hey everyone, it's Zach Wright back with iMEO Companies Part 2. So last video we talked about how to build your go-to-market strategy and what to do to execute those steps. This is Part 2, as I mentioned in that video, the marketing roadmap. And I first heard of this whenever I was reading Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller. It's a great book. If you haven't picked it up, you definitely should. I don't get paid to say that. I just really like the content, and I'm starting to apply it in my own company. So just a brief background. I'm trying to give you more behind the scenes on what we're doing as a company at iMEO, and I'm also trying to give you more tactical and practical tips on what you can use to implement into your organization to hopefully build your business through more leads, more customers, so on and so forth. So you'll see me look down here as I'm speaking about this, but I'm also going to try to post some stuff on the screen so you'll be able to hit pause and take notes if you want to. So I'm going to go through the high level overview of this. There's really 5 categories of building your roadmap. So first is your one-liner. You want to create a simplified message that people understand right off the bat. And we'll go through that in a little bit deeper detail here in a moment. Your lead generator, your automated drip campaign, and then you want to collect and tell stories of transformations. And then you want to create a system that generates referrals. So let's go into detail on each one of these. Let's start with the one-liner. So whenever we were doing this for iMEO, we started our transition to what we offer now, which is an OKR, a 12-month OKR program package. Now, if you're not familiar with OKRs, you're not going to know what that means. So our one-liner is we help you go from goal setting to goal achieving, right? And if we wanted to add to that, we could say we help you go from goal setting to goal achieving with objectives and key results, the goal setting strategy and framework. So that could be that. But what we actually came up with is we help growing companies and busy business leaders establish a 360-degree view into their organization with objectives and key results to go from goal setting to goal achieving. Our customers develop alignment and focus to achieve goals faster, grow with a purpose, and stretch for amazing. Now, that is a little bit of a mouthful, but that's literally what we do. We help companies go from goal setting to goal achieving with the OKR framework, and they, as a result, create more alignment, focus, accountability, and they achieve goals faster, they grow with a purpose, and they stretch for amazing. So that's what's on our website. That's what's in our messaging. That's what's in our materials that we put out there. And this really helps people come to any content that you're creating or any emails that you're sending out, which we'll get to in this next portion, or when they come to your website, they understand straight away what it is that you do. And you've probably seen a lot of companies out there who are great companies, but it's not so clear what they do. So you have to talk to them. They have long sales cycles, so on and so forth. And honestly, by the time you talk to them and get everything understanding of all these things that they can do, you're kind of exhausted. You don't know, should I do this? Should I only get this part? Should I get parts 1 and 2? It's just a lot, right? So Donald Miller talks about with your marketing and your messaging and really anything with business, you want to keep it as simple as possible because there's so many things out there that are going to fatigue the decision making of the people that you're talking to. So keep it as simple as possible. Okay, part 2, lead generator. Now, if you're not familiar with a lead generator, this is also called demand gen, different things like that. But a lead generator is going to be in different forms. So you can have a downloadable guide. Best choice for us, as you can see here, we have these options, and we already have chosen one, but 5 steps to building your OKR program. The key here, as I go through these, just to make a call out, is you can tell that these are very targeted. So anybody who downloads this lead generator is already saying, hey, Zach, hey, iMEO, I'm interested in learning more about OKRs, or I'm interested in implementing OKRs for my company, and I want to have this guide. Now, with these lead generators, you want to make sure that it's gated. So what that means is you have a place for them to fill out their email, possibly their phone number, and their name. Now, you can take it a step further and get their title. You can get the company that they work for, and you can get the number of employees that they have. It depends, in my opinion, on the value of it. If it's a simple something, you're probably more likely to get just the email. If it's something like 5 steps to build your OKR program, I think they're more willing to put that because they are searching for ways to get help on implementing their strategy for building an OKR program. Okay, back to the topics that we're choosing. 5 mistakes / things to know before introducing OKRs. The third one is create alignment and focused teams with OKRs. And then the fourth is creating alignment and focus with OKRs. So with this, we're choosing the 5 steps to building your OKR program. That should be available very soon, and definitely, don't quote me on that, before we launch this video. Okay, so that's a PDF version of a lead generator. Then you could have an online course or a webinar that becomes your lead generator. Now, we have an online course, and it is something that you do have to purchase, but we could have a free online course or a simplified version of the online course that we have and collect those emails and then follow up with them after that. Software demos. If you're a software company, you can have it on your website, just the same thing as the PDF or a white paper. You can have that gated where you get that information. The whole point of a lead generator is to offer something that your customer wants, and you in return get their information where you can actually follow up with emails, which is the next step, or giving them a call. Free trials. So instead of a demo, you do a free trial. If you have a product or a service that is available to offer a free trial, you can do that. If you're a coach or a consultant, you can offer a free one-on-one session by clicking on this, right? Just as an example. If you're a product company in the sense of physical products, you can offer free samples. And then the last one that he offers as examples is live events, otherwise known as webinars. And you can do this virtually. There's tons of free webinar material out there. So one, you might have the first version of the webinar that's live, right? Hence live events. And to get there or to get invited and have a virtual seat, you have to give your information. So now you go through that webinar, you provide all the details. In the webinar, you have an offering for what you're selling, and people can purchase or however you want to do that. But then after, you can repurpose that video, put it on your website, or create a landing page where it's like a sales page where you have all these details, and the live event or the webinar, the repurposed webinar, is available through gated content. So again, the goal with this the part 2 of lead generating is to do exactly that. Put something on the website, put something in a landing page that requires them to give you their information and you to provide value to them for free. Okay, going into after you receive the lead information, this is what should happen on the back end. You're going to create an automated drip campaign, right? So there's tools out there. There's free versions, there's paid versions, there's tons out there. You choose what you want to do to be able to create automated campaign or automated drip campaigns. So there's MailChimp out there that's 100% free. You can put it in there and you can have a drip campaign. We use Flowdesk here, and Flowdesk is a fairly new company, but they create this, or they allow you to easily create beautiful HTML emails. You don't have to know HTML. It's a drag and drop. It's a plug and play, however, whichever terminology you want to use. But we leverage that because you can have an easy link to share out there or embed in your website or your landing page. And from there, whenever they input their information on the back end, there's an easy way to set up an automated workflow. And the way that Donald Miller talks about this is there's 5 emails. Let me double check. I think there's 5 emails that you want to have, or 4 emails that you want to have after somebody downloads your lead generator, PDF, white paper, so on and so forth. So with the first set of emails 1 through 3, these are going to be nurturing emails or welcoming emails. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about a problem, explain how to solve a problem, describe how life can look for the reader once the problem is solved, right? We're not necessarily talking about what we do, but we're talking about what people who find the PDF valuable enough to download and put in their information, what their problem might be, explaining how to solve the problem, and then describing how their life will look after the problem is solved. But then we go to email 4, which is talk about a problem, very similar, describe a product you offer. So now we're kind of going into selling mode that solves this problem. Describe what life can look like for the reader once the problem is solved, and then call the customer to a direct action leading to a sell. For example, as we're creating our drip campaign using this marketing roadmap framework, we're going to be offering our online course or our 12-month program, right? And we can have 2 different automated drip campaigns depending on what content they download. But with this being the OKR program PDF, we're going to go ahead and do the full 12-month program. Now, if they're not interested in that, then we can scale it back to just the online course, right? So there's a couple different ways that you can do that. Another way to look at this is what Gary Vee talks about, jab, 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 right hook. And what he's talking about there is the first email is value. The second email is value. The third email is value. And then the right hook is this is what we offer. This is what we sell. And they're going to have a little bit more credibility or belief in what you offer because you've not only delivered them the PDF or the live event or the software demo, but now you've provided them even more free value. And then they're going to feel more likely to trust you and believe that you actually care about what it is that you're offering, right? And you have to actually care, because if they get to the point where they talk to you and then they see, oh, this was just a bunch of BS, they're probably not going to go with you. So that's outside of the marketing roadmap. This is a piece of advice. Okay. The 4th part of the marketing roadmap, collect and tell stories of transformations. So as you're doing this, let's hope that you have at least one customer that you can leverage, right? So after you talk about this, you want to have a testimonial. So a testimonial is going to be a video. It's going to be a written quote that you can leverage in your marketing material, so on and so forth. But that is going to drive people to want to work with you because they're actually seeing somebody that isn't you talk about what you've done for them, right? And one of the ways that you can do this is to offer your product for free or at a big discount. It depends on where you are as a company. So that was fairly simple. You can do as many testimonials as possible. And then what that should do, or in addition to this actually, is you can start to use your customers in the most respectable way, but use your customers to help create a referral program, right? So create a system that generates referrals. So identify your existing ideal customer. Give your customers a reason to spread the word, right? And so what we mean by this is provide the best experience for your customer and then leverage those testimonials that you have, and then also offer them the opportunity to send you referrals. And that's kind of it, right? So just to recap, you want to have a one-liner, keep it as simple as possible, put it on your website, put it on your landing page, leverage that to help people understand right off the bat what you do as a company. Create a lead generator. Some of those that we talked about, a downloadable guide. It could be easy for a PDF. You can create it in Canva, online course or a webinar, software demos or free trials, free samples, and then live events. But you can also repurpose those live events and put them as gated content on your website. Then we have create an automated drip campaign. We talked about that. The emails 1 through 3, they're going to be nurturing. And then email 4 is going to be your sales email with a call to action. Step 4, collect and tell stories to transform or of transformation. That's the testimonials. Testimonials. I can't talk anymore. Testimonials. Where did your customers start before you, and where did they end up? How did you help them avoid failure and achieve success? Then lastly, create a system that generates referrals. One of the things I didn't mention on this is you can actually have surveys to send out to your customers, and you can leverage those as, do you have somebody that you think would benefit from our offering? We can offer you 10% off on the next month, whatever the case is. So I hope that this was helpful. I'll hold this up a little bit, but I hope that this was helpful for you if you are planning a new launch or planning to upgrade your marketing campaigns or just starting out. Whatever the case is, these all factor into, as I mentioned in the part 1 of the original video, these all factor into how to leverage OKRs, because a lot of growth companies are leveraging OKRs to stay aligned and focused. Now, if your marketing team is creating their OKRs, well, guess what? They can use this roadmap as one of their OKRs. If your go-to-market team is creating your go-to-market strategy, they can leverage this to break down the different pieces of the puzzle that they need to execute upon in this quarter, next quarter, so on and so forth. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions on go-to-market strategy, marketing roadmap, or building out your objectives and key results program, feel free to reach out to us at info@imeoconsulting.com, or you can find us at imeocompany.com, or just leave something in the comments or shoot us a private message. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.